Hi guys, I'm Heather. I'm here with Duncan House Creative, and today I'm going to show you this metallic watercolor cactus tutorial. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to dive in with you. Okay, first I like to go over our supplies with you. First, you're going to need some black watercolor paper or some black cardstock, something that's a little bit thicker. You're not going to want to use a real thin paper on this because it will bow or ripple, okay? I'm using today a white Posca pen. Love Posca pens, by the way. It's an acrylic paint pen, but it's water-based, not oil-based. Most paint pens are oil-based, but these are water-based. I'm going to be using this metallic watercolor palette. It is by Art Philosophy, and it has approximately 12 colors in it. And then you're going to need a paintbrush, some clean water, and then I like to always use a paper towel whenever I'm doing my watercolors. So let me tell you the process that we're going to take in our tutorial today. What we're going to do is we're going to paint the cacti. That is plural for cactus. We're going to paint our cacti, and then we're going to come around here and kind of add some of the details, like these sprigs of grass, the flowers, the dirt here. And then we're going to finish off our painting after it's good and dry with our white Posca pen. And we're going to be adding these details to it to really make it pop off the paper. All right, let's dive in. Okay, let's dive in first by wetting our brush. And then we're going to be I'm using this darker green. There's two greens in our watercolor palette. I'm gonna make sure my paper is in frame here. And I like to use this darker green, but you know, you can take some creative liberties and use whatever color that you would like. If you want a pink cactus, go for it. We're gonna be drawing or painting 3 cacti. And I chose like some very simple cacti, I guess that's the plural form of cacti. So excuse me as I remember that. And I just chose to do some really easy, simple shapes. So our first cactus is just a straight up and down traditional cactus. If you want to be creative and throw some arms on that cactus, go right ahead. This is your painting. I'm gonna take probably a lower approach here so that I can meet the needs of everyone. But if you want to research like different types of cacti, go ahead and do that, and feel free to shape your cactus in ways that are different from mine. Okay, I'm gonna paint one over here, and then I'm moving to my second one on the other side, and this one is just kind of like a horseshoe or a teardrop. And then what I do for these is I just draw a second horseshoe or teardrop on the top of that one, and then I just kind of keep going up, making sure that my horseshoes or teardrops, whatever you want to call them, are a little bit smaller each time. Okay, I think this is called a paddle cactus, but honestly, don't quote me on that. Actually have no idea. So I'm gonna do, I don't know, just whatever feels right. If you're really not comfortable with freehanding this, feel free to use a pencil or something like that to trace your cactus. Alright, I'm gonna come in here and pick up some blue. Sometimes whenever I'm painting cactus, I like to kind of add some blue elements into it, just for kind of that coolness factor, and then to just change things up a bit too. So I'm just touching my brush to this cactus over here, creating a much cooler color than the original green, just so that all my cacti are not the same color. Alright, so this one is pretty much dry. I can paint on top of that one now. So I'm gonna come in here and get some green, and I'm gonna make sure that my cactus is not the exact same size as this other one. and I'm gonna put it on top of that. And we're gonna add like the thorns and all those real cool elements later on. And that is just kind of a more fat horseshoe. And I actually might go in with a little bit of this orange and just add just a little bit of color there just to break it up from that first one. Okay, just to give it just a little bit more dimension so that it doesn't look like I have two of the same cacti on top of each other there. Awesome. Yeah, don't be scared to play around with color. If you really want to, you can mix in your palette also, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, now I'm gonna come in for the base. As these are gonna dry, and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna paint this like gold, this middle gold color. It's not quite yellow, more orangey. And I'm just gonna come down and paint kind of the dirt underneath my cactus, my cacti. And I'm not super worried about what this looks like. It's pretty loose. I do make sure it kind of touches the base of all of my plants. And I put that yellow color down first, and then I'm gonna come in on top of that with this deeper red. And if you ever feel like you need to pause this, please do, okay? I'm just gonna touch the red to the very top of that yellow. And that will just kind of seep in. That's called a wet on wet technique. And that red will kind of seep into that yellow, creating a really nice little ground. Now, when you're doing your ground, notice I let some black kind of show through. There's a little bit of negative space there. And that's just to give it a loose look, a kind of loose, whimsical look. That's the look I'm going for. So, all right, so we have our cactus drawn, we have our cacti, excuse me, we have our cacti drawn, and we have our ground drawn. Now I'm gonna come in and add some flowers to my cacti. I think I'm gonna use this pink color. When you're working with metallic watercolors too, it takes just a little bit to wake those colors up. All right, so don't feel, yeah, put some water in there and really work it around. And I'm just gonna come in here, and for my flowers, I'm just gonna kind of draw in my paintbrush, all right? Kind of making straight strokes down in almost like a V shape, but over and over again. We always want to add our cactus flowers just there on the top. There's that one. And then I like to put kind of a bigger cactus flower over here. And honestly, sometimes I like to do that, like 2 colors. I like to maybe use some, I got some orange here. This one's kind of a more wild cactus flower. And I might add some pink on top of that. Just to kind of... Awesome. Ah, it looks so good. I bet yours looks good too at home. So, all right. I've got my flowers drawn, I've got my cactus drawn, I got the dirt drawn. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to imagine some kind of tall sprigs of grass shooting up from this kind of desert scene, okay? And I'm going to use this bronze color, this orange bronze color. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and kind of paint some V's in the direction I kind of envision these sprigs of grass to go. And I always top the V with just one little sprig there, I guess I'll call it, or one stroke. And that will be like the top of our flower. Okay, so don't forget to put that on the top. I don't know if these are flowers, maybe they're wheat, maybe they're grass, I don't know. Now you can touch your little sprigs together, or you can leave some room separating them. Whatever you'd like. I might put one here in the middle, just peeping up on top. Make sure I have some color on that brush. Peeping up on top of this one there. Okay, so I have 5. Remember, I've always heard in design to think in odd numbers. So we have 3 cacti, I have 5 sprigs of grass. So always be thinking with those numbers in mind. All right, next, our very last thing to paint is we're gonna come in again with this green. And I'm just gonna come and just add just a little bit of touches here and there of green like it's grass. Just really loosely taking my brush and doing that. It doesn't have to be, try not to be super symmetrical with it. The more symmetrical you are, kind of the harder that is. It's actually a great exercise for us to like push against that tendency to be symmetrical. I'm gonna add just a couple of little taller sprigs of this copper color. Okay, all right. Now what we have to do is wait for this to completely dry. I've finished all of my painting, and then we're going to go on top of our cactus with a paint pen. With our Posca paint pen. So maybe you want to go get a drink, maybe you want to take a little break, do something like that, but get up, walk around, look at your work, let it dry, and then meet me right back here and we'll do our paint pen, okay? All right, thanks for coming back. My cactus is completely dry, I think. It is dry though. And we're going to outline our cactus and then add some different patterns for our thorns, okay? And I like to kind of change it up whenever I'm going to use another black sheet of paper to kind of get my Posca pen going. There we go. Posca pens are pens that you kind of have to pump to get the ink to come out. So always do that on a different piece of paper, because sometimes I have been known to pump my Posca pen onto my work and then it goes everywhere, and so it's really frustrating. So just make sure you use a different sheet of paper for that. You don't have to use black necessarily, but okay. I'm gonna start with my first cactus that we drew, and I'm gonna come out over here and I'm just going to basically outline it, okay? And I'm actually gonna make sure I can see this. I'm sorry, this is just me being weird. I have to turn my piece to really do it. So I've outlined it, and I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna add, I like to add for this little dashes. Now feel free to look up on Pinterest or Google Images, different things of, I don't know, different cactus drawings. You might find that you want to do lines or ridges, or you might want to do polka dots, something like that. So again, think outside the box. What I say here is not necessarily how it has to be. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the next one. Pump my Posca pen out over there. And for this one, I think I'm going to do some ridges, where I'm going to do some ridges there. And then for this one, I'm going to come around. And for our paddle one, I just want to outline every single one of these little layers. And I have seen, actually, you know what? I think for our October box, we're going to do a cactus too. I can't believe that we're doing 2 months of cactus. I just realized that. That's okay. Okay, and on this one, I do little V's and then a little line in the middle of the V. Again, if you want to do little polka dots, if you want to do little dashes, whatever you want to do is fine. And I kind of make them go in different directions, okay? So you don't want to necessarily line them all up in one direction. It's completely okay for them to kind of be sporadic. So, okay, there's that. I'm gonna add maybe some details there. All right, now that my cacti are outlined, I'm gonna start going over my flowers. And again, I do this super loosely. I kind of think the looser, the better. Honestly, when I find that I try too hard, I don't like it. And I just kind of go around them like that, and then I just add a little squiggle in the middle, like I meant to. And then the same thing with this big one. Just kind of come up around it and just go around it, and then maybe come in here and add some little loose lines, like I meant for it to be abstract. All right, so we've done our cacti. Now we're gonna add the stalks to these little flowers. So I'm just gonna take my Posca pen and come through here. And sometimes whenever my leaves are together, I might not go through them, but I might go like what it looks like under them. So I might draw it. Let's see, I'll do it on this one. So I'll draw it and then lift my pen up, come, lift my pen up, skip, and go like that. And it looks like my stalk has come through instead of just a line on top, okay? Just those kind of small mental tricks as you're doing your art. There we go. Awesome, good job. Okay, and I might even just draw a couple little. And then the last thing I always do is kind of come in here and add a line to make it look like my cacti are on the ground. And then just kind of add some details. All right, you guys, we are finished. And you might want to come in here and add some dots, some little, maybe you want to add a little butterfly flying through the desert. That is all up to you, okay? Here is my finished cactus, or cacti, excuse me, metallic watercolor. Isn't it beautiful? I bet yours is beautiful too. I really do bet it is perfect looking. I will tell you a little trick that I do if not all of us are always happy with our work, including myself, but I will tell you a little trick. Look at it, accept it, say, man, I did good work. And then walk away and come back in the morning or come back in 2 or 3 days and look at it again. And I guarantee you will think to yourself, I can't believe I did that. That's actually kind of good. It's amazing what a little time away from our work does. It gives us a good perspective. So anyways, if you're ever feeling a little bit of self-doubt, do that. Walk away for a little bit, leave it in the car. Leave it on the table. That's what I was thinking of. A student that I used to teach in one of my classes, her name was Miss Gloria, and she said, I always like to leave my artwork in the car till the next day. This is when she would come to class, and she goes, and then the next day it looks so beautiful. I don't know, just something about it being in the car made it look good. So anyways, she's the one who kind of gave me that trick. But all right, that is it. Please share your work with me. I would love to see it. I would love to celebrate it with you. I'm sure it looks so good. You should be really proud. All right, until next time, we will see you then.